It is 8:30. Call this meeting of the Utilities Commission on January 9th to order. Clerk can call the roll for attendance.
Mr. Sayers?
Here.
Mr. Ball?
Here.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Here.
Ms. Busenberg? Mr. Gant?
Here.
All right. Seeing as how Ms. Busenberg is not here as a citizen rep, Mr. Gant, you're on deck. So, or I guess you're batter up. I don't know. I don't play football.
Not strong.
More of a football guy myself. All right. Okay. So, first order of business to look at the minutes from the December 5th meeting of 2024. Fellow commission members, you have your December 5th meeting minutes in front of you. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the December minutes.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? There you go. Minutes are approved. Moving on to the adjustment journal, the December adjustment journal. We have those here. Are there any comments on those? Anybody want to give a rundown?
I can give it.
Okay.
Robin won't be here today. She had a medical issue taking her to.
Okay.
Stand in for her. 7 through 18 Stump Street was a leak credit. We issued 100 North Monroe Street. It was one of the agencies donated $1,500 to cover her bill. This residence moved out prior to that being used up, so in that case, the money has to go back to the state. So we made an issue back to the state, or a refund back to the state. And then 107.5 Columbus Road, there was a transfer of property there. The one owner did not notify us, continued paying the bill, so that's what made up that refund.
Great. I will make a motion to approve the December 2024 adjustment journal as presented.
All right. I have a motion as presented.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, clerk can call the roll.
Mr. Sayers?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Yes?
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to new business. We have Fatima Foy at 408 7th Avenue.
Fatima, excuse me. Fatima was unable to attend today due to the reschedule. My name's Ken Byers. I'm her husband.
Okay.
So, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to meet with us today. What we were requesting, or the reason we were coming by, is we're the landlords of 408 7th Avenue, and our tenants were past due on their water bill. So we did receive a lien notice for the property. We did pay the amount of $684.06 to keep the property out of a lien, but we would like relief on the past due fees of the remaining bill of, at that time in November, would have been $583.46.
There's a sheet with all this on it.
This is the green stripe.
Okay.
It took me a second because I didn't see the address.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
All right, got it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the name threw me off. All right, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so we were asking for a relief of the remaining amount that was due at that time in November of $583.46. I believe $491.57 of that is pure late fees, and out of that $491, $320 was the added combination of just the $40 late fee on top of late fees that was charged due to their tardiness. so that way we can get the bill cleared up. We do have it moved now into Fatima's name, so that way we can get it, once we get this clear, we can get it clear with the city and keep it up to date.
So after Robin kind of added everything up here, if we do the full late fee, she has 21 charges at $8.17.
Yep, that's at 171.57, correct?
And then she has also these 7 charges at $40 each.
Right, I was showing 8, but,
8, okay.
so yeah, we can change that 320 down to 280.
And for a total of $451.57.
That would
would be-
match up with what I'm showing
Okay.
on late
Yeah.
fees,
And that would be the late fee since the inception of the account.
correct.
So then that would be, they would be paying service fees and the Clinton Township fees,
Yeah, this is just what we,
just the late fee.
just our,
That's all we're asking for the relief on.
yep.
All right, those numbers sound legitimate. So, any comments or concerns about that?
Just a question for me then, because I know as a general matter of policy, landlords remain responsible, that's property owners who remain responsible for the water. But I understand not having any notice is the issue here, it seems like. Is it possible for bills to be sent to multiple addresses? Is it possible to provide notice in addition to landlords?
If they request it, we will send it
Oh,
to
okay.
both addresses.
Oh, okay, all right.
That was the remedy that has happened, right? It was put in Fatima.
What we are actually doing is we are taking over the water bill,
Okay.
and we've made an agreement with the tenants. We've increased their rent to compensate for that bill. So that way they are no longer responsible in any way. So once this is cleared up, I can clear up with the money at the city, and there should be no future issues. Correct.
But we do have a way that if the landlord, when they set this up, they can get an email copy or some kind of copy of that bill.
They can be either paper or email, whichever they prefer.
Okay.
And just as a matter of law, we cannot waive any of the Clinton Township fees.
Right.
Which those are not included in the
Yeah.
numbers we
No,
discussed.
I know they aren't, but I'm just sort of making sure we're educating everyone.
Yep. All right, I would like to make a motion that we waive $451.57 for the utility account at 408 7th Avenue, which is the total of the late fees only.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further comment or discussion? Hearing none, clerk can call the roll.
Mr. Sires,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes,
Mr. Reinhardt,
Yes?
Mr. Gant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you.
You'll handle that with Robin in the water billing office.
Perfect. Thank you very much,
Very
everyone,
well.
for that. It is greatly appreciated. On a second note, if I may, last month when we were here, mentioned about, we would like to do everything we can to provide you enough information to help get grants to get actual city water ran into that area.
Yes.
Now, I did receive your card, I believe it was Mr. Ball. Now, we are, now that we're past the holidays and actually have time to work on this, we are going to try to get a letter and communication to all of the residents in the area. Would you like your email address, because I know you asked me for a copy of the one report that we had ran. Or is there a general email address or communication that you would prefer me to put on a mass letter that I'm putting out instead of your direct information?
And probably at this point, just me.
The unlucky straw. Okay. And I did want to give you a copy. This is the report
Nice.
that I had done when we initially purchased the property in 2023. I did highlight 2 items that are high over the EPA limits, one being bacteria and the other one being the iron. iron causing a lot of the problems that was mentioned last month with the discoloration and everything else in the property.
Yeah, that's very helpful. The project in Buckeye Edition, we were able to justify it for that. Now, those were partly ARPA funds, but we had a couple bacteria hits, and some of that funding came through HUD, and they needed at least one high bacteria count to fund the grant, so this is very helpful.
So, and we are planning on getting a new one, but I would anticipate that the reports are going to be fairly similar.
Okay?
So, thank
Yep.
you everyone
Send
again for
these-
your time.
Send these our way. I appreciate you.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, moving on to our next piece of business and new business is Mark Hun at 17311 Gambier Road.
This particular account's been all taken care of.
Okay. Great. Glad we could help. All right. Now, moving on to discussion about cutting trees on the West End levee.
All right, so, Mayor has been on a very big push to try to, improve the situation in our uncertified, flood protection levee. And one of the things that came out of our, meetings with, MORPC folks and other discussions was to kind of get rolling on some deferred maintenance. And the idea came up that we have quite a bit of lumber actually in the area where we're not supposed to have trees. So the idea of cutting the trees, processing them, drying them, and then saving them for future city project, whether that's a police station or something we would need lumber for in the future. So where we're looking at is the tree removal would be about $20,000. And the drying of the trees would be about 29,000. And the processing of the trees would be a little over 23,000. One thing we can do is, if we want to reduce some of these costs, we can basically give the processor some of the trees because they have a pretty good value. I don't have an appraisal on the trees, but if that's something this group wants, we can do that. So, wanted to put that out there for public discussion. One thing we would have to do is find a place to store them after they've been dried, till we need them, basically.
Yeah.
And then just another point, so the federal regulations require the levee to be free of trees from 15 feet from each toe. So on the inside of the levee, the power company, if folks have been watching the city council meetings, the American Electric Power is doing a major transmission line replacement, and they will be removing the trees from the inside at their cost. And this focus would be the river side of the levee, where we would be working, because the other part's going to be taken care of.
Is there any sentimental value of any of these trees? Or are they just trees growing on the levee?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I feel that there are sentimental values to every tree. There's a social value, but they've been the maintenance has been deferred for decades, resulting in a pretty nice grove of walnut trees.
Did we call a commercial logger to see what the value would be if we sell the logs outright?
We can get that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. I think it'd be worth seeing,
Okay.
cost versus cash value of it if we were to sell it off.
I'm gonna defer to a council comment on this one. Personally, I think it's worth more to just have somebody come in and take the trees, and if there's any money remaining, put it back into the levy.
You also can look at the value of the boards. If you're building something,
Yeah.
buying that lumber back later would be at a higher cost. So we can put a little tabletop thing together.
Have they graded these logs at all?
Mhm.
What were they grading out at?
I don't have that. this was basically a conversation, so, I mean, I've got the list of,
Because you could, depending on the quality of the tree, you can get it all made into lumber, but how much of that lumber is going to be usable, depending on the grade and all
Yep.
that.
yeah, if that's, we can put together, more of a report and, check back.
I
We
don't
just
know.
wanted some guidance, because we didn't want to take any action without bringing it through the commission.
Mr. Councilmember, thoughts?
I mean, I would be interested in seeing what the different options are, because if there's a way that we could do it with little cost to us, or if we could put money back into the kitty and do something to the dam, I think that would be ideal. But, I mean, that's not to say that there isn't a world in which, because what you had said, that there's the possibility of having them come in and actually taking some of the lumber and in
Yeah, so-
exchange for services, basically, so we don't really have much of anything out of pocket.
Right, so say we want to save the lumber for a city project.
Right.
We could say, okay, I've got so many, I don't know, he doesn't have the units on here, but I've got, the majority of the trees are walnut, so we say, okay, give us, how many walnut trees would it take to make this a zero cost activity? Like, we would say, okay, I've got, I think he's saying I have 20,000 board foot of walnut. Not sure, because he doesn't have the units on this quote, but, okay, how many of those board feet would it take to reduce our price to basically
Yeah, I guess I'd be interested in seeing some hard numbers on that,
zero? Okay.
because with everything that's going on there, to your point, I think, I understand wanting to preserve it or maybe save some money that way, but without looking at hard numbers
Okay.
as to what we're actually saving.
yeah,
And I
and
know
I
we're
think-
not gonna have that, but just having something in the
Well,
ballpark would give us
so
a.
the thing we can do is this was a sort of a quick tabletop exercise. So this is our need to understand is what is the group, this group, or I mean it really is below the council threshold, but what is needed to make the decision? So what kind of decision documents?
So
do
you're
you-
already looking at a cost of about $70,000 there.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. And then storing it,
we haven't got that number yet.
Sure.
Because we don't
And
know.
then that's just rough lumber, kiln dried rough lumber.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So,
nothing produced,
and then
milled.
to build out, what, I don't know. I don't see how, I don't see the economic value in the grander picture of actually doing this versus just giving the logs off to somebody and saying, you come cut them and you can take them.
Okay, well, like I said, we'll do a little deeper dive. The other thing to realize, after April 30th, we cannot cut the trees until October. So we'll do a little bit more investigating, which probably will kick this into a next winter activity.
What's the reason for that?
There are two types of endangered bats that live
Boy.
in trees, especially hickory trees. So if we were to cut the trees, we would have to do a formal bat study, and that would be a lot more expensive. That changes the whole dynamic of the project, so. This is something we put together quick at the mayor's request, so we just want to properly vet it through all the channels, and we'll look
seems
at
like-
it a couple different ways.
Seems like all we really need then is, what's the cash value of it if we pay someone to come in here and just take it? What's the expense, what's the value of the product we think that we're gonna get out of it if we keep it and,
Okay.
hang on to it, right? I mean,
Yep.
those are the two.
Yeah, and we may
We
be
know the
able to
cost
get,
of
so
cutting
the
it.
thought would be is that we come back next month with that information, we might
Yeah.
get part of the work done this spring.
And what's the stretch of the bank that's covered by
This would be High Street Bridge south to the railroad tracks.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Pretty good stretch.
Yeah.
It's heavily
That
forested
is
too.
not insignificant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of wood. Lumber.
So, okay, great, good enough for now.
Okay. Moving on to Permission for engineering to explore and apply for grants for the wastewater treatment plant major rehabilitation project.
Great, and so, as you guys know, Arcadis is our partner with wastewater doing design, and I think, I can't remember, Aaron, if that's part of their current scope or pending. mod.
In the rate study, they're going to investigate all grant opportunities.
Yep.
And then once they find out what's out there and what they discover, then we move forward from there.
Yep. So I think probably some of these need to be moving in parallel because of the different deadlines. So it doesn't have to say engineering; it could be engineering and utility. We would like formal permission to make applications, and some of these may end up needing council permission. That's part of what, depending on the grant, some of them will require like an endorsement from city council. So those would have to go to city council, but we don't want to make any applications without a commission endorsement.
Now, is this something engineering would do internally, or would it be subbed out?
I mean, it depends. So some of these we may have Arcadis work on. Some of them we may have our staff do. We may have consultants help with it a little bit. I don't think we're looking at large. A lot of the, I mean, what's our 30% report is what, 200 pages. I mean, a lot of the technical stuff's already written. It's just putting the spin on the what's needed to tell the story, and usually we have to plug in the rates and that kind of stuff.
So are you looking for formal permission from the Utilities Commission to
Mhm.
do that?
Yep.
So the only thing that I would add to this is edit whatever, I guess this is just more of a title, but
Yeah, it's
whatever
just a conversation.
motion that would come before the committee would include the utilities. So if engineering
Yeah.
is filing, like, it would be a joint submission with utilities and engineering. That way it's not a shock to the utilities, because if it's the wastewater plant, which often requires engineering to sign off on what, X thing, but it can't be, here comes this package from one department. I mean, it's the same way with safety forces. We're not gonna have the fire department be like, oh, this is a good idea. I'm sure Kit would enjoy it.
I'll let you make the motion.
So I make a motion to grant permission for engineering to explore for grants for the wastewater treatment plant major rehabilitation project.
I'll second.
With an amendment that it also includes utilities on.
Friendly amendment.
If,
Or I can make that amendment.
Yeah.
I'll make an amendment
There we
that this is
go.
a,
Now, how's that for unity?
yeah, let's make an amendment that the permission includes a joint efforts between utility and engineering. And then somebody has to second that.
I'll second it.
There you go. All right, so we have a motion. Oh, my God, what happened, Rob? We
You have to vote on
we
it.
have-
You technically have
Yeah.
you technically need to approve the amendment and then approve the motion itself.
Yeah, okay, so,
I'll move to approve the amendment. Do we need to do that? Yeah.
yeah.
So
Let's-
you're
let's
seconding
roll
it.
all that
I'll
back.
second,
Yeah,
I'll second,
yeah.
I'll second the motion to approve the amendment. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you vote on the amendment.
All
Or
right.
discuss
So,
the,
yeah.
is there any, that you would say, is there
Any discussion on the amendment?
I love it.
Okay, we have one left.
Call the roll.
Yeah,
Mr. Sires,
yes,
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Gant.
Yes.
all right. So now, we are going to, is there any discussion on the motion as amended? Hearing none, clerk may call the roll on the motion as amended.
Mr. Sires,
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
All right. Now that one made my eye cross, fellas.
Earning your,
Okay.
earning your keep today,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. DEFA. So, on to our next topic. No, okay. Asking for a recommendation to City Council to pre-authorize the loan application to the Ohio EPA. I don't know what DEFA is. DEFA. According to the Ohio EPA, we must provide them new authorizing legislation before we can request a loan. We need City Council to approve by spring 2025. Ideally, when we ask to do the award for the CMAR, we would ask for the loan legislation at the same time.
Yeah, I
There you
think at this point, we've had a bunch of emails back and forth with the EPA. And so I think we want to hold the CMAR because we have not advertised that yet, waiting on their endorsement. So we would only be asking to, go back to council for the loan authorization. So I looked it up, it's 2021-70 something. We had approval previously from city council to make the application for the loan. It'd be really a grant loan combo. The grant would be super small part. They are requiring us to reapply, and they know council's turnover, things change. They want a new authorizing document from city council, and they request that be provided in February. So we found the last one and gave that to Rob and Todd to take a look at. So we would want to get permission. We have a loan, like a provincial loan application into the EPA because you have to almost have that in a year at a time. So that's in, but then it's sort of on hold until we have formal authorization. We also need the project. This is where I think we'll want either Aaron's staff or our CRADIS partners to come and explain to council. The project's changed quite a bit. We want to provide council a major update on where we are as far as the project, based on a lot of site visits and really digging into the age of the facility.
Yeah. Arcadis would be more than happy to come. Yeah, they could explain the scope. Yeah.
So they're gonna be here on Monday to do some work, and so like ideally they would probably not be ready to present to council on Monday, but the goal of this would be to allow the council to go to all three readings, hoping that the first reading would be this next coming Monday. So
And that's primarily for what project?
this is the wastewater, sorry, nowhere in there actually. This is the wastewater treatment plant major rehabilitation and the phosphorus treatment. So we have in our second 5 years of being under orders to, I would say second and last 5 years of being under orders to upgrade the plant to meet the new standards of phosphorus and some other standards. And, as we've been going through the process, there's a lot of, I think the last upgrades were 2003. Those facilities are in service 24 hours a day. Some of those things are aging out. And we kind of hit that 20-year mark. We're going to hit that 25-year mark before we actually have a lot of it changed out. And so a good bit of things that are unrelated to phosphorus that are nearing end of life that we need to reinvest in.
And these are EPA mandated.
Mandated goes.
Yep.
Upgrades.
Talked about that. So.
I remember that, yes. Fun stuff.
Yeah,
I
so
think
this,
it'd last longer than that.
well, but, are you driving is your car 20 years old?
It is actually.
Do you drive it 24 hours a day?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not.
But I think giving it 3 readings, this gives an opportunity to bring in our subject matter experts. It also brings an opportunity for council and folks to schedule tours and meet with the director, assistant director, and see a little bit of what they have to deal with day to day. So. Great. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we recommend to City Council the reauthorization of the application for an OEPA DEFA loan grant combo.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, the clerk can call the roll.
Mr. Sires?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Yes?
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right. Moving on to old business, there is none. And moving on to other, is there anything that needs to come before the Utilities Commission?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
We tabled the daycare facility. If Mr. Swallow would like to come and talk about his request.
Yes, thank you. And before I become official, can I just say that it's been enjoyable to sit here once instead of sitting up there. All of y'all should get a chance sometime to just sit here and watch how government works and watch how committees work and things like that. So yes, I came, Captain and I came in December, and we were tabled until February. However, we have moved, with Mr. Ball's help, we have moved a little bit quicker than we realized, and we are have reapplied for a 1.5 inch water line. And Mr. Ball has been very helpful, and we have done that. And which saves the Army significant amount of money, both in that fee and in ongoing monthly fees. But I would be remiss if I didn't go back to the original request to have some relief from the fees itself, regardless of whether it's 1.5 inches or whether it was the original 2 inches. Not saying that I don't appreciate, and the fact is that Mr. Ball has indicated that there would be approximately $17,000 in savings. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, so this is just for everybody watching, this is the Salvation Army new daycare facility. Did not state the address because it doesn't have one. That's another detail that has to be worked out. So the request, if you go back to your minutes that are attached, it has the
Page 2.
page 2 has the I think has the original fees. So there's a pretty good difference in the water side, a reduction from a 2 inch to a 1 inch meter.
1.5.
1.5.
Or sorry, 1.5. Installing a 1.5 instead of a 2 inch, we would be, and the reason they'd be here is this is a cash. They've already paid all of these fees, so this would be a refund over $500. So the credit for water would be $9,003.
What's the total fee for the 1.5 inch?
So the fee for the 1.5 is $17,034, not including the fire line.
And they're asking for a 50% reduction?
Well, I'm not.
Oh.
Mine is the raw numbers
Okay.
of if we simply reduce it to. So if you want to know what they paid, that's different.
We paid $38,860.11.
Yep. For
For
water.
both water and wastewater, yes, sir. For the taps.
And that was at a 2 inch?
That was at a 2 inch water line.
So we already owe you money because we actually only installed a 1.5.
Nothing's been installed.
Oh, well, okay.
They have paid for a 2 inch water and a 2 inch, well, the sewer line for a 2 inch water.
Okay.
Both of those fees have been paid.
All right.
But
And,
in
and that's 38,860. If they were to actually install the 1.5, the total would be 17, or is it gonna be higher than that?
Pull these permits up. I didn't print them out because I was trying to save paper.
Trying to save trees.
Yeah, I was trying to save these trees.
Will the water line itself stay the same size and then we'll just reduce it down for the meter? Or
They're getting a 4-inch fire line, so then they'll be just, the tap will be off of the fire line. So instead of a 2-inch, you could probably have a 2-inch tap and then connect an inch and a half. It'd probably just be an 1.5-inch line to the 1.5-inch meter. Because that hasn't been built yet.
Right.
The contractor, part of this is a contractor came in right away and paid, I think, before they even knew.
Before I knew that, before the December meeting, actually, yeah.
So they were still trying to decide on the water meter size, and then the contractor already made the payment.
And then Mr. Ball helped us, and Josh, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who came and measured the PSI, and we realized that we didn't need, that's the architect versus the engineers and the builders. We didn't realize that we needed, we didn't have to have a 2-inch. We could do a 1.5 and actually potentially do a 1, but we have decided not to do a 1, but to do a 1.5.
that'll give you plenty of room in case you expand it someday.
Yes, sir, but I can't see unless we go up. I can't see any expansion. The building has, what's the right word, engulfed? Maybe that's not the right word. Spread out in the property farther than my feeble mind imagined on a plan. So it's filled up the space. I can't see us expanding.
Well, you never know when you need 30 more toilets. So.
That is true.
Hang on, I got one of them. Okay, so the total payment made for wastewater is $10,875. And again, this is made by the construction contractor.
Right.
Then the total payment made for water is $27,985.11. The water includes the 2-inch meter and the 4-inch fire line fee. Calculator here. So yes, Rob, the answer is 38,860.11.
And then if they went with the 1.5 plus the 4-inch fire line, that would be 17,034.
Oh, let me do it. I'll do it in negative math. So they would get a cumulative credit of $13,934.77 if they simply just adjusted down 1 meter size.
So 13, sorry.
13,934.77. Take 38,860.11 divided by 2. That is half of 38,860.11 is 19,430.06.
And they'd originally asked for 19,430.05.
Yep. Well, depending on how you round the half cent.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll give it to you.
He's the guy right here. You know? So yes, if you go back to the minutes on page 2, the request was 19, exactly as Rob stated, 19,430.05.
That's,
So
That's based on the 2-inch, so.
That's
with-
based on the 19,000 is a 50% fee reduction
On the
on the
2-inch.
2-inch.
Right.
Just changing the meter size gets you an automatic, and then it's a 13,934.77. It also reduces the monthly bill.
Yeah.
Because the bills are based on cross-sectional area multiplication factor
And
of
s-
each.
And so today, we're asking for further reduction, even, recognizing that there's savings in that. Is it for this, is it additional 50, for a 50% reduction on that reduced?
I don't mean to be greedy,
No, no.
It's up to you.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna make you make the motion.
but yet,
No, no,
yes, yes, sir, I am.
Yeah, no, I want to be, I want to be clear. I'm a father of 3 young kids. I'm a neighbor for this facility, and I, you know, on behalf of all the parents in this community, I can safely say this is a woefully needed service. And
Thank
so
you.
I'm very grateful that the Salvation Army is doing this.
Thank you.
There's a
No,
lot of
I-
families out there who struggle with childcare.
Thank you. Thank you.
So assuming that they go with the 1.5 inch, the total cost will be 24,925.34. Assuming the lawyer is able to do math
Without a calculator.
without a calculator.
He's doing pretty good.
So, so I guess the question is, are you asking to do the same 50% of the total fees that you asked for before?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so his request is 19,430.
No, it's
No.
24, it's half of 24.
So-
24,000. Half of
So
the,
that's
So we'd have we'd actually have two separate transactions.
two,
Okay, so you're
So-
saying you want a half,
Or engineers.
so that's,
you want a half of the, you would like your request is the half of the 1.5-inch fee.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
In addition to the refund for paying, for what we
So
already
that's-
have paid for.
okay. So then that, you're saying,
12,462.67.
on top of the 13.
12,462.
62. 67.
12,462.67.
My math is correct.
Sure there's someone out there.
So there's
watching
not a
this.
lot of difference in the total. It seems to me, being a volunteer without a calculator at all and only hearing figures, it seems to be that there would be approximately 20,100.
25. It's about, it's over 26.
Oh, you got 26.
You got 26.
13 and 12, 13,943 is almost 14 plus 12 and a half.
Oh, 12, I was doing 62, yeah.
Hey, Tanner, you gotta pick a number here in a minute.
Okay.
No, not yet, not yet, not yet.
I've heard too many numbers to know what's going on. So
Well, there's a lot of ways to
I'm with you
philosophize
fellas.
on this, how to do it, so. Our,
And I'm not sitting up there, but what I'm suggesting is that since we've already paid 38, if,
So, let me, before you
go ahead.
confuse this further.
Maybe you're farther down the road than I am, Tanner, go ahead.
So, or if we were just to
Yeah.
start it all over again.
Yeah,
You want a 1.5-inch line.
correct.
All right. Whatever the fees are for a 1.5-inch line. is
Correct.
What you should pay, and then you want to pay half of that.
Thank you, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. That's,
So,
that's very simple
What
and
would we
very
charge for
direct.
that? What would we charge to install a 1.5-inch line? Or a meter, I should say.
okay, so you're wanting the
And
1.5-inch,
What's
Plus
half
the-
the charge?
you want a 1.5,
Because that's what they're asking for.
right, a 1.5, 4-inch fire line, and the sewer, all in, right? All three things.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
what we've given them.
that's the 20, well, we will. They
Well,
haven't installed it
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
It's that's the 24,925.34.
Yep.
Yep.
okay, so half that.
So, yeah,
So
the
then half that.
fee would be,
12,460.
462.67.
That's the total figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a 50% reduction.
Bill would be, yeah, what, 12,462.
67.
And they have paid 38.
Uh,
38
38,860
and
Okay.
11 cents.
and 11 cents.
So,
We're already.
10 and a
going-
half cents.
So when we install the 1.5, we're already gonna refund them 13,934.77.
give them an extra 6 and we'll be done with it. Sounds like.
12.
After that's 12.
Oh, yeah.
So then the
Whatever.
refund would be
26,397.44.
Fine with me.
okay, great.
I'll make a motion.
Was the number 26,397.44?
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're entitled to that anyway, even without the motion, right? They're part of that.
Yeah.
I guess our
can't-
motion is purely the 12,000, right?
We can't
Reduction.
refund, the billing office can't refund anything over 500.
Oh, because this is basically an adjustment journal kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
We're
then-
authorizing, they can only refund $500.
Yeah.
Anything above that has to come here.
Yeah.
It will then show up again on the adjustment.
All right. Yeah.
And then we're just increasing what will show up on the adjustment journal.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'll motion for that.
So, motion for the adjustment to the tune of $26,397.44.
And I will second that.
All right. Any further discussion or comments? Okay. Clerk can call the roll.
Mr. Sires?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Yes.
Mr. Gant?
Yes.
Motion carries. And we all get to write that off on our taxes as a charitable contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for taking the time and
Yeah.
thanks for coming.
Watch that exercise in 4th grade math.
I know, right?
All
But one more question. So I go to Jason at the county tax office?
Oh.
Where do I go?
For
For the official address.
Oh, to get your address.
Justin.
Justin.
Justin at the tax map office.
Very
Yeah,
good.
So the county, where the county commissioners are in the service center,
Yeah,
go in the main door most of the way, almost
Between the recorder's office and the auditor's office.
got it.
near
Got it.
the elevator, yep. And that's for Justin. And because it is not an attached facility, so
Yeah,
we're not
that-
able to set up the account because it needs an address. We also want the fire department and everyone to go to the right building. So the account's still sort of in limbo because
Walk through the front door and keep walking and.
Yeah, to the left, right? Yeah.
Well, it's on the right.
it's on the
The
right side.
auditor
On the
and
right.
the
Oh.
recorder are on
On the left.
the
Correct.
left,
Okay.
and they're on the right.
I will go do that right now. And again, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, anything else that needs to be come before this esteemed body? Don't smirk. All right, if nothing else, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All right,
Second?
second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay here. We are adjourned at 9:18.
Good work.
Oh, 9:19.
It was in
It was in
flight.
the air.
Wait for the, let's wait till she turns off.